If you clicked on this video, you're ambitious, driven, you're working long hours, providing for your family, and you're probably the hardest worker that you know. But in the process of doing that and going after these things, your physical health got put on the back end, right? And you right now are on the pathway to physical burnout. And I'm not just talking right now about your ability to work long hours, to show up at work for the people that need you, for meetings and all these specific things. I'm talking about everything outside of work, right? You experience the crashes at 3 p.m., right? You can't spend any time, with your family members, with your children if you have any, because you constantly feel like straight after work, you have to wind down, drop everything, so you can regain your energy before repeating the same cycle tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. And it comes down to your habits, right? That gets to a point where you see yourself as this ambitious, hardworking guy. You want the best for yourself and your family, right? You're showing up and you envision this high-performing man that gets stuff done. But if your physique doesn't match that, there's a massive piece of the puzzle that's missing. And that's something you have to understand. A lot of the time, taking a step back and actually focusing on yourself when you have these responsibilities and things that you're actually actively trying to achieve sounds like the most selfish thing you can do, because you're constantly in this mindset of, I need to provide for my family. I need to make sure they never have to worry again. But in the process of doing that, you've sacrificed yourself, right? And understanding that taking care of yourself and bringing your health up to that standard and level of ambition that you see for yourself is actually the most selfless thing that you can do. Because not only is it going to improve every area of your life, your energy levels, your performance, your creativity, how you handle problems, and all of those things, it's going to improve the lives of your family, right? And the standards that you demonstrate. Because we all know, you've probably heard so many times, that your children and the people around you, they don't replicate or adopt the habits that they're told. They do what they see. So you need to be the one setting that positive standard for them and being the role model for them. So being selfless in this situation actually means giving yourself the time to get in shape. Because here's the truth that you probably don't want to admit. And it's that you're not burnt out because you're not motivated or you don't enjoy the work anymore. Because let's be honest, you have a strong enough reason why. You know exactly what your purpose is, and you know why you're showing up every single day to execute that. But it's because you're overextending and you're not treating your body and giving it what it needs to actually perform. You are trying to perform at the highest standard, but you're not treating your body in a way that allows you to do that. You're not giving yourself or your body the resources to actually do that. Which is why you're experiencing the 3 p.m. crashes. Which is why you have brain fog. Which is why you have low energy and low motivation. Which is why you're experiencing all of those specific things. But the reality of it is that you didn't just stop enjoying work. You didn't become demotivated all of a sudden. Because you have a strong enough reason why. You know exactly why you're doing it and why you need to stay consistent. But the truth is, you're overextending yourself. You're trying to endure too much, do too much, endure too much stress. And you're not prioritizing recovery and the very things that allow you to perform and endure those things in the first place. And when you do that, it's only a matter of time until everything falls and everything crumbles. And if that sounds like you, and you're in this boat, and you're sick and tired of feeling low energy, almost lethargic, you have brain fog, you have the afternoon crashes, you have joint pain and aches, and you just have this chronic level of exhaustion that doesn't disappear even when you take rest, it's because you're trying to do too much, right? You're overstressed, you're either overtraining, under-recovering, not eating the right foods. All of those things play a part. And if you're constantly doing all of those things, and you're doing all of them at once, it's going to impact, your health. It's going to impact your physique, how you feel, all of those things. And which is why you feel like you're trapped in this cycle, going around in circles, and it doesn't matter what you do or what you try, you can't get out of it. It's because you need to fix the root cause instead of trying to look for hacks, to cut corners, right? Thinking that more is going to solve your issue, but you need to just be doing the right things intentionally and building yourself back up. Because most high performers, yes, you have the income, you have the career, you have the responsibility, but you're living a sedentary lifestyle. You're not hitting the gym or training 3 to 4 times a week with intention and progression. You're not hitting 10K steps. You're getting poor recovery. You're abusing caffeine to mask the actual issue for why you have low energy in the first place. And your nutrition is primarily run by convenience and comfort, because those things are easy and it's convenient. That's exactly what it is, right? But when there's no preparation and when there's no planning ahead, and when your health is constantly on the back foot, you're leaving the very thing that gives you the energy that allows you to perform and actually move forward in the first place. And when you constantly put that on the back foot, there comes a point where, like I said before, everything's going to fall down, everything's going to crumble. And you're going to have to, pay in some way, shape or form, right? You either do it now through making the right choices, discipline, investing time, energy, and a little bit of money into either a gym membership, eating the right foods, planning your days in advance so you know exactly how you're going to make it happen and the habits that you're going to implement to do that. Or you can later, right? In hospital bills, in regret, in all these other ways that you don't want to and you don't need to, providing you take care of yourself right now. Because the reality of it is that you are providing for your family, you're running a business, you're working long hours, so you're always going to deal with stress. And the ability to overwork and under-recover is always going to be there if you never have a structure or a routine in place. And if you're someone who's telling yourself, oh, I've tried everything, there's nothing I can actually do, you have to ask yourself, what have you actually tried? Because if it's just some social media workouts, there's no structure, you're just freestyling everything, and you've never tracked your nutrition, you've never seen how many calories you're eating, and you've never actually done everything in your power to make sure you are losing weight or you are building muscle, whatever your goals are, then let's be honest with ourselves, that's just an excuse. You need more structure, more intention. Because the same way you progress in your career or the same way you progress in business, you track your KPIs, you see what's going wrong and you make the necessary changes. Fitness is the exact same way. And it's all about numbers, whether people want to admit it or not. Yes, you obviously need to eat the right foods, you need to have the right habits so you can actually make sure your energy levels are high, you don't have brain fog, right? You're actually performing at your best. But in the grand scheme of things, the way you lose weight is by eating less calories than your maintenance. And the way you gain weight is by eating more than your maintenance. And if you're not even tracking and you're just telling yourself, oh, it's restrictive, or eating clean is too expensive, and you give yourself every reason why you shouldn't make that change, you're in the wrong headspace and you have the wrong mindset. And before that ever changes, you'll be stuck in the same position. Until those things change and actually you start taking initiative and you come up with the plan for yourself, then you can actually change. Because the truth is, when you know what you're doing and you're just staying consistent with a plan that you enjoy, that you can stick to, and you actually build that momentum, you get into a routine, it's very hard to go wrong. It's very hard not to make progress. And eventually you'll have high energy, you'll be able to perform, and you'll have that authoritative, respectable, and capable looking physique that you envision yourself having right now. So these 3 common mistakes I want you to start avoiding. Okay, number 1 is overtraining and under-recovering. If you've tried and you feel like you just can't see results or can't make any progress, it's because you're most likely trying to do too much and you're not being intentional enough with the things and the time that you are investing into your health and fitness. Like as a high performer, all you probably know is work harder for longer and the chances of you getting better results are probably higher. But with your health and fitness, it's all about intention, making small decisions consistently. And when you make those choices and you have a health conscious sort of mindset and approach to everything you do, you really don't need to take long. It's half an hour here and there. It's 45-minute workouts, but with intensity, compound movements, and progressive overload. It's not more, it's just having a plan and a structure that you can stick to. And then number 2 is under prioritizing your nutrition. So yes, when it comes to gaining weight and losing weight, it is calories in, calories out. But I absolutely hate that phrase because it's so important that you eat the right foods at least the majority of the time and prioritize those healthy whole foods that are going to help you feel your best, have high energy levels, and actually perform and make sure your hormones are all on point so you can actually, show up and get done what you want to get done and be as efficient as possible, right? Because without those foods, you're always going to feel terrible. You're going to have inflammation. And a lot of you are eating those foods currently, which is why you're in the position you're in. So make sure your nutrition is actually on point. Be conscious about the foods you're eating. And, some tips I have to do that is you can meal prep on the weekends for an hour for the week ahead. Then you can eliminate, time, decision fatigue, and, money that you'd potentially spend ordering food in, right? Or going out to a restaurant and eating junk. Whatever it is, that's all going to save you results, time, and energy. So things like that is what's going to make all the difference in the world. And as well as that, I recommend you can take snacks with you like Greek yogurt, Brazil nuts, dates, things that are, extremely good for you, but they take very little time to prepare. There's no washing up, there's no messing around, and you can just take them on the go with you whenever. And those things are great, efficient, and amazing for you. And then number 3 is chasing short-term results or trying to get there too quick. I see so many guys who will, cut out carbs or restrict themselves or try and cut corners in some way, shape, or form by doing something that they can't even stick to, that they don't even enjoy, and it's just completely unsustainable. And when you do that, not only does it come at a massive cost, ruining your hormones and, just your mental sanity and so many other things. A lot of the time, guys don't even have a plan on what they're going to do after. And then if they do make progress, they'll end up just gaining the weight back on and they'll be stuck in the exact same position. So actually doing something that keeps your longevity, your health, and your performance in as the main focus is what you need to do, right? You don't want to sacrifice anything just for looks because that's not what health is about. Health is about, everything, right? From how you feel, your mental sharpness, your confidence, everything else that comes with it. All of those things make a difference. And that's why I don't believe in, excessive cuts or excessive bulks, because if you take it too far in the extremes, in my opinion, it just takes away from why you wanted to get in shape in the first place. So that being said, start utilizing proper recovery, right? Give yourself a set time that work is going to end in that day and actually allow yourself to wind down, spend time with your family so you can recover and actually have enough energy to where you're enjoying what you're doing and you don't feel burnt out and you don't feel frustrated, right? You want to get into a routine of training. 3 times a week is all you need. You can do full body workouts, half an hour to 45 minutes, as long as you prioritize compound movements, you train with intensity, and you progressive overload. And you can schedule those into your calendar just like their meetings to remove the negotiation so you can actually make sure you show up and get it done. And you need to make sure you're training with intention as well, right? Because if you have half an hour to 45 minutes to train and you aren't following a routine, you have no idea what you're going to train, no idea what the structure of your workout looks like, and you step foot into a gym, good luck, right? Because you're just wasting your time at that point. The entire idea of being half an hour, it comes with intention and intensity to maximize results and efficiency. So you have to have all of those things together. And if you want help with that, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help. My DMs are always open. It'll be linked down in the description below for you to go and have a look and check it out. And that being said, arguably the most important thing is manage your stress, right? Because it's inevitable in your situation, but managing it can really preserve your longevity and your health and your overall performance. So that's super, super important. That being said, if you do want one-on-one coaching, make sure to check out the description below. You can DM me the word change. I'll reach out, ask you some questions, see if you're actually a good fit, give you some more information. And there'll also be a link down below where you can also hit that. You can book a call with me and we can take it straight away there. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one.